Hey guys, wow, so another crazy trading day, except this time NASDAQ totally in the green, almost 3% right now. Huge results. So before we talk about the tickers that we traded today, mainly IBIO, the small caps again weren't really too interesting. I really want to talk about as well the Tesla trade that we talked about yesterday, the possible trade we might make. I made it, and then today we took some really nice profits on that one. So today we have a really big green day overall, and I want to review those trades. But something I want to also talk about a little bit, we were kind of discussing in the live stream today, is what are some good books to read on day trading a little bit, maybe if you're a swing trader, day trader, investor, yada yada. And I want to share some that we talked about in the live stream that I've personally read myself, and I think would be probably a good read for most people, or like most traders to read as well. The first one I actually mentioned just because I just read it on the flight down here. It's a really quick read. It's a little bit old school, but it's actually called Trading for a Living. I have Audible, where I just kind of read all these books or just kind of download them into my head. It goes much quicker. So Trading for a Living by Alexander Elder. It's a lot of kind of crowd mentality, psychology kind of book. You're not going to really learn much about day trading itself. He does talk a little bit about some strategies, but it's a little bit more kind of abstract. And I found kind of some value in it. I think it would be a little bit tough for a new trader because it's not that tangible, this book. So maybe as an intermediate trader, it's a little bit more interesting. Maybe even an advanced trader. I wouldn't say you would learn anything totally new, but at that point it'd be like a little good confirmation or something reminding. So probably worth looking into. There's also Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. I read this book last year and I'll probably read it again. This one's kind of interesting because it was a little bit more specific and it had a lot more examples on, day to day, or it talked a little bit more on things we can all relate to, some bigger events in the history, in the past. Also a little bit more of a new book. In terms of Trading for a Living, the one I just talked about, I mean, he literally talked about, calling up his broker. He discussed a lot about, commissions being too expensive and all these things. I mean, these are all things that if you're a US day trader, you don't really have too many issues with anymore. So kind of interesting how it progresses. But ultimately, I've noticed that the lessons in the end are kind of always the same. It's all about risk management. It's all about not getting too emotional. And the real professional traders, you would have kind of no idea if they had a green day or a red day. To them, that is, they totally leave their emotions aside. So you kind of see a lot of these kind of recurring themes throughout all the books. There's a book from Ross Cameron, How to Day Trade, that I really like. I like this one because it's not totally abstract. You can learn a lot of real trading strategies. He talks a lot. I think the whole book starts with risk management, a really important topic, and then it kind of goes to specific strategies. He goes through his scanners. He goes through certain pullbacks and breakouts, and I really like that book. I got a lot away from Ross Cameron's book. I probably will reread that one as well pretty soon, actually. I think one thing that will help a lot of people really quickly is understanding candles and how to read charts. There's a really good book on that. It's called The Candlestick Trading Bible. It's by Menhisa Homa. I really don't know if I'm saying that right, so here it is. Anyway, this book you could probably slam in a week. I've probably read it 3 times. I'll probably read it a dozen times in the next year or two. It's a really good kind of foundation book that I think every beginner should read, and any intermediate trader should review, and any professional trader probably reviews anyway. I mean, it's just kind of like, if you want to become a day trader, understanding price action is fundamental, and I think this book does a pretty good job at covering it. I do want to point out that TD Ameritrade has a learning center, and they go over a lot of candlestick patterns in that learning center, and they go through a lot of price patterns as well. I find that to be very helpful free resource online. So those are already 5 books specific about trading and candlesticks. Now there's 2 books that I would kind of recommend. They're a little bit off topic, but I think they will really help you. You could apply them to trading really well. The first one is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Again, I don't know if I'm saying these names right, but Extreme Ownership, I just finished it like a week ago. Really, really sweet book. I feel like you could apply it to all walks of life and especially trading. I mean, ultimately, trading is you versus yourself. It's not super complicated, but it is kind of super important to understand, own your mistakes. Take profits when you have them. Cut your losses when you have them, right? It's not about hoping for a good trade. Trading is not about being right or wrong. It's all about risk management, taking profits, cutting losses. You can really make it systematic. So extreme ownership, kind of like the title says, is, don't leave it to the whims of the market. Is probably a simple way you can apply it. But yeah, this book has great examples, and it's just a really interesting read, especially with all the war stories that he kind of throws in there as well. Another book, Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. It's kind of the whole stoic approach to life. And I find this book really, really important, really kind of getting in the zone, being relaxed, understanding what's around you. I don't even really want to talk about it too much because he breaks it down 1,000 times better than I could ever do it. And I feel like I would just be doing a disservice talking about this book. Anyway, I've read this book twice already. Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. It's a New York Times bestseller. I think all of these are pretty much bestsellers, or at least the last two that I talked about. Definitely consider those two books if you're looking for something a little bit more relative to life, and then the first 5 books, something that more specific to day trading. Obviously, there's plenty of more good books out there, so let me know in the comments below what your favorite trading book is. I would love to hear it and throw it on my reading list. In other news, let's get ready to go to the charts, talk about the trades we did today, and maybe talk about what other trades we might be looking for. And before we do that, don't forget to drop a like, guys. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're totally new here, definitely consider subscribing. We would love to have you join the community. It's absolutely good fun every single day. It's one of the things that I look forward to the most when I'm day trading, seeing what the chat room is always up to. All right, guys, off to the charts we go. Wow. I'm over here eating cookies like a madman after the live stream. I found this delicious cookie. All right, I want to get off topic, but it's been so good to me. All right, so reviewing the day a little bit here. Didn't make that many trades, but yesterday we bought quite a bit of Tesla. Not a full position size. I wanted like $10,000, but we ended up getting like 6.5 thousand. We did that yesterday based on yesterday's recap video where we talked about a potential setup that I was going to be looking for. And that's exactly what we saw. So I'll talk about this one a little bit, and then I'll review the day trades we made today. Overall, we're up $860 today. Pretty sweet day. Although I would really kind of say that $70 is part of the day trading today, and then $500 is part of it as well. So, minus $11 from TRIL. So we're actually kind of up like $560. Because that's actually the day trading we did. And then the swing trading LMND, I wouldn't really count that into profit. It's unrealized gains anyway, and we're up about $200 since the open of this trade. So pretty sweet. Let's go first talk about TRIL. Where's this little ticker hiding? TRIL. Okay, 62 million flow, Canadian biotech with a $25 million Pfizer investment. Smack, crackle, pop. Sounded good, but it actually didn't really play out too well. So this thing was up here about 50%, and then kind of pulled back from pre-market highs quite a bit as well. Not really too bad to the point where I was getting nervous about it, but at the same time, a lot of kind of failed breakouts here on TRIL. I missed this move to the upside, and then I try to get this move here. Ooh, sorry. We had I think I just swallowed something. We had a nice pullback here, and at first I was like, okay, this is looking kind of sweet. Actually, wait, no. We had a nice pullback here. Sorry, I was like, my eyes just went like cross-eyed. We had a nice pullback here. I entered on the 43, so as this candle was dipping down a little bit red, and then we were up here like 2%. I was like, okay, here we go. I want to take some profits at 13.75, and guess what happens? It starts selling off. And the second it started selling off, I was like, my trading thesis is invalid, right? I was looking for the breakout of 13.75. I would want it to go fairly quickly. It didn't happen. This breakout started selling off. Now, I held past this pullback, but once we broke below VWAP and the 90 EMA, this is no longer a breakout trade or whatever. This is a failed move. Knowing that, I basically say, okay, well, I was wrong, whatever. I closed this trade for a small $11 loss, and I just move on with my life. Not a big deal. I never ended up trading TRIL again. It kept on having these kind of fake outs here, here again when it tried to break VWAP for like 3-4 times in a row. I don't know. Now it's trying again in these areas, but it doesn't look very good. A lot of upside potential I felt like on this one. I felt like we could have ran to like 14.6, and then if we broke that, maybe we could have ran to 16. But it just never really ended up doing anything. The next ticker I was looking at, IBIO. This is, a former runner. I think a lot of people feel comfortable trading IBIO. We've seen this one over and over and over and over again. But, it's on the backside of a big move with a lot of back holders guaranteed. So 117 million float, USA Biotech with coronavirus vaccine candidate news that to me is just rehashed for the 10,000th time. I didn't really see anything too interesting on this catalyst. And to me, this was more of just a bounce because we had a double bottom here and then we broke higher, right? This probably would have happened today without any news. So I really don't think the news was very, very strong. I do think that we're kind of just approaching a general big support zone between 1.5 and about $2 here. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with IBIO. This just could be a generally good support zone. But yeah, again, I just kind of see a lot of resistance here, a lot of back holders in these areas. And I don't know. Maybe it's going to have a retest at 2.5 at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's decent risk reward here. So I was thinking, as a swing trade, or if you really believe in IBIO as an investment, I think, accumulating between 1.5 and like $2 could be kind of an interesting zone. But again, day trading this one was a little bit, it was a little bit slow. Let's actually talk about the trades we made on it. So pre-market, a little bit choppy, but then around like 8:40 or so, all of a sudden, this thing gets a lot of attention. I remember you guys in the chat room were calling out IBIO pre-market, and it was, I was like, okay, let's see what's going on here. I actually ended up buying the first pullback here and to VWAP and the 9 EMA. Got a nice little crack higher here and took my first profits on this. And I was like, okay, nice little way to start the day on IBIO. Not too bad, not too great, but base hits. That's what it's all about, right? And then we did, I was thinking, okay, well, there's big support here at 2.2. Maybe I could do a little bit of bounce trade, but to me, this was too close to that recent break of VWAP, so I was like, scratch that idea. Then it keeps on selling off here. I love the big sell-off here, and I love the fact that 215 was former support right in this area. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy 215, but I was like, it's actually kind of selling off strong. Let me move my order down to about 214. So this was a really good snack. I wish I honestly went with like a $4,000 position size, so like 2,000 shares. I didn't hold it very long, so this was a very small winner, but it basically brought me like $30 of profit, and I was like, okay, well, can't complain. That was a nice little move. In hindsight, I could have held it longer, but pre-market, I'm not looking for home run trades. I'm not looking for anything, that's going to change in my life in terms of like losses or wins, or hopefully, right? I'm just trying to get my feet wet. I'm trying to maybe ideally build a cushion, and I'll take those base hits again and again and again. So, this could have easily had a 9 EMA retest, and it kept on selling off, right? You just don't know. So this, from pre-market highs sold off 8%. That's nothing. So it could have sold off much, much more. We were talking about IBIO being a possible good dip buy anywhere from like $1.98 to $2. So you could probably be squeezing out 1% here and there just constantly on IBIO. But again, that's very scalpy. And if you get caught in a flush, you might just give it all back in one trade. So I don't know. What I do know on IBIO is that, this 2.5 is big time resistance. So that's a little bit ugly on that one. That's pretty much it on that front. Let's talk about Tesla, and then I'll mention LMND if you guys are interested. We'll talk about that as well. TSLA, and might even be easier talking about on the chart here. Let's go to the hourly chart on Tesla. Just taking a little bit to load here. So, okay, you guys remember we did this first little trade in this area on the way down. And then, we were talking about Tesla, big support here between 330 and 340 on the stream. I totally missed this trade. I was actually really upset about missing this one because it was so obvious, I felt like. And I was literally talking about doing this trade, and I didn't do it. It was like worse when that happens. Anyway, I was like, I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I kind of started accumulating here at 330. Like I said, I might do. As it looked like it was going to actually form a bit more of a double bottom, I did that. I didn't do a full size though, because I was like, okay, well, there's a big chance it's going to go to 300. That's a 10% dip from 330, right? So I was like, okay, well, that's a big risk I'm kind of taking here. And it actually ended up dipping 7.5%. So I took half position size, and I had another limit order here at 30, where was this one? Like, I think it was like a 316, no, 317. I bought again here on the way down. That was a limit order that was pre-placed. It happened after hours, so I was no longer online. I actually had no idea the price fell off this much. When I'm done with trading, I'm done with trading. I like leave. I turn my computer off. I'm doing something else. I don't know what I was doing exactly at this time. But my mind is off the markets, which is good because who knows what kind of ridiculous stuff I would have done here. I wish, I did another order here at like 309 to get a full size, but at the same time, I didn't want to have like that big of a size without, watching it. So that's kind of the reason behind that. So let's kind of go here to the 5-minute chart, and actually let's do a 1-minute chart and kind of see what happened here. So Tesla opens up, pre-market, we had a really nice pop higher here, and I'm like, okay, well, this is looking kind of good. And mind you guys, I almost never day trade or swing trade Tesla because I just find it like a little bit tricky of a ticker to trade. We had a red to green move here. We had a big dip. I wasn't nervous when I saw this dip. I was like, okay, well, it's, watching your P&L is always like a little depressing, but I wasn't nervous. And then we had a nice spike higher here, red to green move, quick healthy pullback, and then we ran all the way up to 360. So my original goal, and even on Trade Journal, I wrote this. I wanted to take profits above 360, but ideally 370, right? 370 would have been amazing. 360 would have been good. So we ran up here to 364, and we pulled back. We had another move, and then we had a flush. And then we had another retest, and this is where I should have sold here on this other retest because we broke momentum. This was a big crack of momentum, and I didn't sell here. So that was a big no-no on my end. So that was a bit of a shame on you move. And actually, if we go here, we're going to see this much better because this has a little bit of the VWAP applied to it. So when we had a double bottom here and it cracked, and when we cracked VWAP here, I was like, okay, well, this is a failed continuation. So I was looking for that continuation to 370, didn't get it. And since this cracked here, I was like, okay, that stopped me out. So now I was looking for a retest of VWAP. I actually missed this retest of VWAP. I was really close to exiting it here, but I missed it, unfortunately, because we could have actually had a better exit here. So that's a little bit sad. I always try to, if I get stuck in a flush or something, I always sell in the first retest. Anyway, I didn't do that this time, so that was a little bit sloppy trading for me. Pulled back again here, had a bit of a flag pattern. I was actually kind of nervous about this one, but I had a big feeling that Tesla would at least retest VWAP. As we were coming here for that retest, I ended up selling here at 35.5.45, 355.45. So that was an okay place to sell. It wasn't great, but whatever. And yeah, so far Tesla's kind of just selling off. So it was nice that I didn't get stuck in any sort of major flush besides obviously this one, but this one would have been kind of sad to be in it twice. So have a plan, trade your plan, and I think the only thing I didn't do great on this one is I didn't take half profit here, and then I didn't sell the potential other half at 362 or so when momentum finally cracked. Or I should have just sold my whole position here when clearly things are not looking so hot. So I think that's really what I did wrong on Tesla, but at the same time, this was a nice trade overall. So I'm not, too upset. LMND, this is a swing trade we're currently in, and on the live streams we've been talking about this one on and off quite a lot. I was just constantly buying this one on the way down. I actually missed my last entry here at 44. This was kind of annoying. So this should be 100 shares, but it isn't. On this one, I'm waiting for something ideally into the 55s. I think that's a little bit high. So probably on a 9 EMA retest and a break on the 9 EMA. Anything above 53, I'd probably start taking profits on LMND. I'm totally fine with holding this one a week or so, but I think probably, this week we'll probably get out of this position. Should be like an okay little profit. So I'm, looking for that. And then I think LMND could be a great investment in the future, but that obviously won't be with this account. It will be with a different account. Well, an account that I don't look at every day because that's really important for your investments. All right, that's pretty much everything here. Don't forget to drop questions, guys, below if you have any. I'll try to incorporate them into future videos. Let's wrap it up there, guys. Like always, stay safe, make some awesome trades. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.